Hi everybody, I'm Walt Lewis and we're here with another Fire Engineering Training Minutes. Today I've invited my friend Al Studt. He's a partner with me on Florida Task Force 4. He works at Kennedy Space Center. He's one of our comm specialists and structural specialists with Task Force 4 and a resident expert on United States National Grid. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the value and the how and why of where USNG is so good for the fire service. So Al, what could you tell me a little bit about why USNG is important and where it applies in the fire department?
Walt, thank you for having me today. U.S. National Grid, or USNG, is the land search and rescue standard since 2011, and it is a federal standard since 2001. We are presently standing in a 10-meter grid, and that 10-meter grid can be identified in your local jurisdiction by its 8 digits. In just 2 more characters, you can identify something regionally, and in 3 more characters, for a total of 13, you can identify any location of this size worldwide. Back to the local jurisdiction, you could pre-plan or geolocate anything: hydrants, gas valves, hazmat, electrical shutoffs, fire risers. In search and rescue, it could be used for searches. A gridded map is the most important tool needed, and National Grid is the language of location.
You touched on the 13 characters, and here I've got it pulled up on one of the websites we'll talk about in just a second. But here we're at 17RMM69907733, and just telling those characters to people that understand United States National Grid can put anything we need right here in a matter of moments.
That's correct. It is the same system used by the military and NATO since 1949. The coordinate system is all letters and numbers. There's no decimals, there's no degrees, there's no minus, there's no plus, there's no north, south, east, and west. National Grid is easy to use. It's the easiest system if you have to learn a coordinate system. Unlike latitude and longitude, where there are 3 versions of latitude and longitude is something that most everybody has heard of, has learned about, perhaps all the way back to grade school, as something that's worldwide, but it is not good for search and rescue for the reasons of confusion because of the multiple versions of it.
Okay.
So back to National Grid. National Grid is simple, and in the local application can be 8 digits for this box that we're in right now, this grid square. You can use it in 6 digits to identify a 100-meter grid. That 100-meter grid could be used to land a helicopter. All across America, fire rescue and EMS lands helicopters in intersections or ball fields, and they do it with latitude and longitude, or perhaps even street address, and that's converted. The coordinate system could be as few as 6 characters in most of the United States.
Okay, and that's just for helicopter applications. But here, as an incident commander in a rural or very suburban area where we have a lot of trails or urban interface, I could apply that for where I need to put my woods trucks or my brush trucks, so I can find and maintain location on those units, or for where the trails are for hikers or for people on bike trails, that if they have that on their app, on their phone, when they're biking or running and they become injured, rather than having to go a mile, 2, or even 10 miles on a trail to locate them and hope to find them, they can give a good GPS location, and just those 13 characters or even 8 characters, they could find themselves within this 10-meter square, and we could find them and get them the fastest help possible.
That is correct. One of the things that's important to know for public service answering points ahead of that call to a trail is there's 2 different websites: usngapp.org and findmesar.com. These are both open websites. They're also manifest coded, which means once you open them on your smartphone, they will work without the internet. So a trail person or any 911 caller anywhere. Nowadays, most 911 calls are by cell phones, and so there's poor geolocation. It is possible for the public service answering point 911 dispatcher or operator to ask the caller, who may not be involved in the incident, maybe they just witnessed the incident, to open the simple website and identify their locations to the size of this grid that we're in today.
So this definitely has great applications in the fire service, and not just the EMS world, but for wildland firefighting, for urban search and rescue, for wilderness search and rescue, all the applications. Now, many people in USAR are very familiar with this, but for the departments that aren't, they should certainly seek the information needed to apply this and see how valuable it is. So thank you so much for being a part of today.
I appreciate it very much.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to pass on?
Remember, United States National Grid is the language of location. It can help you. It is a tool for your toolbox. Please put that tool in your toolbox.
Sounds good. Al, thanks for coming out today. For Fire Engineering Training Minutes, I'm Walt Lewis.
And I'm Al Studt.
Thanks for watching.